USL Championship Soccer on ESPN Plus from MSU Soccer Park in Montclair, New Jersey. It's a nice, cool Friday evening to get the weekend started with some high-quality soccer. David Goss and Mike Grella with you here for this broadcast. New York Red Bulls 2 hosting St. Louis FC. And Mike, for these two teams, both coming off massive wins. For the Red Bulls, sitting in second place, they knocked off the Rowdies to move closer at the top of the East. And for St. Louis, their first win in over 2 months got them back into the playoff spot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting game tonight. One team looking to stay compact and defend. Red Bulls, too, obviously looking to go out in the attack and steal balls high up the field. But this is going to be an awesome matchup today. Looking forward to it.
For St. Louis FC, they'll try and sit deep and defend and then score through their big man up top, Kyle Gregg.
Yeah, Kyle Gregg, 5 goals this season, 12 goals last season. He's a typical big center forward. He's going to be really tough matchup for the two Red Bull center backs today.
And on the flip side, for New York Red Bulls, too, an experienced player in Gregg. For them, a young man in John Tolkien, turned 17 on Wednesday, starting at left back.
Yeah, he's such an impressive kid, and that's what he is. He's still just a kid. 3 assists, 4 in 4 career games. So much quality with his left foot. Will interesting to watch him play defense today and see how he does.
John Tolkien will be under pressure today, as will the New York Red Bulls too. St. Louis FC needs to continue to win to move and get comfortable in the playoff spots. Anthony Pulis knows what's at stake. Sticks with the same team that won 3-0 last week. We've got a good one coming up for you. We'll be back with starting lineups and first half action here on ESPN Plus. New York Red Bulls 2 sitting 3 points out of first place in the Eastern Conference. Can they continue in their winning ways? A strong lineup for both teams, including one of the Golden Boot leaders in Tom Barlow up top. All your action coming here on ESPN Plus.
With MSG Go, the game goes where you go. So you can watch live Red Bulls games anywhere you want. It's free and easy because if you get MSG, you get MSG Go. Watch your favorite team wherever you are with MSG Go, presented by Lexus. Download it for free where you get your apps.
Gets it back. He will take a strike.
Played in. Laurel gets a hand to it.
Denied by Laurel from point blank.
He's standing on his head right now.
Marcus Epps finds some space.
Barlow putting it in, back of the net. No slowing down, number 74. New York puts the exclamation point on this one tonight.
The fans are out ready for the start of the weekend, and they're hoping to get it started well with a home win. St. Louis FC looking to continue their winning ways and ruin it. For St. Louis FC, I said it in the open, 0 changes to the starting lineup from last week. The 2 new guys in Kasher and Fernandez along that left side, bringing a little bit of punch to this St. Louis FC starting lineup last week. Kadeem Dakers, the local man, starting on the right side. Russell Cicerone and Caleb Calvert still on the bench for this one. And on the flip side, for New York Red Bulls 2, Sebastian Elney enters the starting lineup. Marcus Epps loaned to Memphis earlier today, so he will not be a part of this team, but a lot of firepower in Tom Barlow, Jared Stroud, and Vincent Bezecourt.
Yeah, absolutely. They all add different things to that attacking line, and Stroud's excellent. He's been an excellent season. Here we see John Wolniak. He's done fantastic. Last game was an awesome, how he put the 2 youngsters in such a big game, in such a big moment.
And on the flip side, Anthony Pulis, his second season, led St. Louis to their first ever playoff appearance last year. And then this year it's been interesting, Mike. They made the deepest run of any USL championship team in the Open Cup, but at the same time have struggled since then in league play. And now Anthony Pulis trying to get his team settled again moving into the summer.
Yeah, I think it's like he said. He's just struggling with numbers and struggling to get enough good players in the field at the same time. So you can tell when you have two different competitions going on, it's always going to be difficult to keep that quality high, keep that energy high.
Some major injuries for this team. Gaia Bend, who was a big part of the midfield for this group, not available for this one. Still a number of other injuries. Tomas Gomez back in goal for this one. A 3-0 win last week at home for St. Louis FC, a 2-0 win here at home for New York Red Bulls too last week. So which one can continue their winning ways as we're kicked off here? Greg Dobka, our head official, Emily Karsikahu and Zeno Cho, our two assistant referees, and Jacqueline Amaya, our fourth official. New York Red Bulls too in their home red kits with red shorts going left to right on your monitor, and St. Louis FC in their green kits with white sleeves going right to left on your screens for the first half. Mike, I think this is the coolest it's been at kickoff since about March for New York Red Bulls too, which hopefully helps give us a good game.
Yeah, and in the booth here we got fans for the first time. It's a little late for that, but yeah, it's a really nice night for soccer.
So Sebastian Elney now taking over in the starting lineup. I mentioned it, Marcus Epps, 2 goals, 4 assists, but 17 starts this year. One of the senior players on this team going to Memphis on loan, so he'll no longer be a part of this group. That's now time, minutes, experience that New York Red Bulls still have to fill in for.
Absolutely. I thought he did really well, even though the stats maybe didn't show that as much. I thought he had a lot of quality, a lot of really positive energy every time he stepped on the field, and I thought he was a very positive guy and a very positive member in this Red Bull 2 team.
Paris G here, the starting left back for this one. Matt Boehner, the starting right back, alongside Sam Fink and Fanwell Kavita. A lot of experience along that back line. St. Louis FC, 7th in the league in goals conceded, one of the best defensive groups in the league, although Anthony Pulis felt that they still haven't been as good as they could be. So throw in flicked on. Opportunity here for Hilton, and his shot straight into the arms of Evan Loro.
This game reminds me of when I played over in England in some of the lower leagues, and you play against a hard-nosed, good strike here. And you play against a hard-nosed, compact, English-style team, when you play against big center forwards and big center backs. And I think it will be a very good experience for both teams tonight, but especially for the New York Red Bull 2 team, because they're playing against a team that will play like men tonight, I think.
Yeah, for a guy like John Tolkien, he's played now 4 USL championship games in his career. 3 of them are against MLS 2 teams. One last week against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, which was a big game, but this is a different experience than playing against Atlanta United 2 or Bethlehem Steel. Be interesting to see how a young player like that handles it. Scarlett steps forward, wins possession. Don't be surprised to see this quite a lot throughout this game. St. Louis FC right now. 11 players back behind the ball, compact lines. And New York Red Bulls, too, are going to have to try and find ways, which they've not done often this year, to pass through a set team.
Yeah, they've had difficulty, no question about it, when the opposing team sits back and is in a compact shape. They found difficulty there. Sort of what they want to do is get into an open game with you and pick balls off the back line and play in this fast-paced game, and that's where they're best. That's why once they score first and the game opens up, they're a very difficult team to play against. But St. Louis here, you'll see they're in a compact position, formation, and it's going to be difficult.
Last week against Bethlehem in their home win, they conceded 60% possession to Bethlehem. For the season in the league, they are 3rd lowest in passes completed. So for St. Louis, they don't care. They're not bothered by giving up possession, and that, as you said, plays perfectly against New York Red Bulls too.
Yeah, it's sort of an old-school way of playing. I guess a lot of people would think of it that way, but it definitely is effective, and it's hard to play against, and it can get results.
Hilton floats that ball over the top. Hilton with a screaming goal, one of the goal of the week candidates against Bethlehem last week. His parents over from England to watch him play. So they enjoyed that one, and they're in the crowd once again here today in New York. As Kofi drops that one back. Jean-Christophe Kofi, in his first year of playing in professional soccer, joined New York Red Bulls too last year, late in the season. Not able to make his debut. He was suspended last week on yellow card accumulation, so returns to the lineup. Bezecourt now floats in, tackled away by G. Tolkien here with some time and space. Into the feet of Lima. Back for the run of Tolkien and handled by Fink. See John Wolenek there. Has not faced St. Louis FC in 2 years, as St. Louis playing in the Western Conference in 2018, returning back to the Eastern Conference here in 2019. All-time New York Red Bulls 2, 3-1 against St. Louis, 2-0 here at home. That was a different era of St. Louis FC pre-Anthony Pulis, who has brought a set of style and composure to this club.
In the beginning here, I'd like to see New York Red Bull 2 just with a little bit more width in when they're building. I think that will force St. Louis to open up a little bit more than what they want to. And it could be an effective way to find some spaces if the two center backs find that width, like they sort of have right now in this picture.
When you played for New York and you played against a team you knew was going to sit back, as Rito comes flying forward here, able to get the cross in, knocked down in the box. Kofi with the shot. And he can't get around it. It'll go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, if they show the replay here, if you watch the movement from Rito, he's in behind the left midfielder, or I'm not sure if that's the left back. He's in behind. He's 5 yards away from him, and it's such an effective way to position yourself because you're taking that guy out of the play. If you're standing 5 yards in the same line with him, then that chance never happens, and it's very easy to defend against you. So that positioning from Rito, really good.
I was going to ask you, how do you not get stressed coming into a game like this because you know it's going to be tough to create chances?
I mean, personally, I enjoyed playing games like this because you have to think of creative ways to unlock the other team's the other team's defense and what they're trying to do. So I think you're in a game where you're gonna have a lot of the ball if you're Red Bull 2. And that's always a positive thing, and you have to find a way to break this tough St. Louis team down.
Stroud clipping that ball into the path of Bezecourt. Vincent Bezecourt draws the foul.
I'm not sure that's a foul. A little bit soft. And just earlier, Jordan Scarlett put in a really heavy tackle that could have been called a foul, and the referee let it go. So I hope that he lets things go so that the sort of flow of this game is top quality.
Bezecourt, 7 starts in USL play, has not played since June, has appeared in a few MLS games in July, including going 64 minutes against Toronto FC just 2 weeks ago. So Bezecourt wearing the captain's armband here today. It'll be Lemma and Stroud to stand over this one. Stroud hits it low. Barlow knocks it down at the near post. Drops it back. And Rito will chase it down. St. Louis, all 11 players back defending. David Goss and Mike Grella joining you here on ESPN Plus to get the weekend started in USL Championship play. Another big weekend of action coming up.
Yeah, this game so far is exactly what we thought. New York Red Bull 2, patient. They have the ball. They're playing against a St. Louis team that's defending very well and very happy to.
Nealis can't find a teammate.
And those are sort of the things that happen when you begin to get frustrated against a team that sits back, as you start to have cheap giveaways, and you've got to remain patient, keep your frustration levels down, keep finding little ways to keep the ball moving until you find some space.
And one of the worst games we've seen New York Red Bulls 2 play here at MSU Soccer Park was when they were man up for almost 60 minutes against Ottawa. And one of the big issues you had in that game was the positioning of the center backs, their decisions in the first few passes, and the positioning of the fullbacks a little too narrow throughout the game.
Yeah, when you
ball through here for Barlow, knocked away by Fink.
When you play with center backs, some people say, oh, as long as my center backs can defend and be big and be nasty and stuff like that. But the positioning of the center backs and the way they play the ball and if they're good or not with the ball is so important, because every single team in the world, especially the ones that know how to play really, really well with the ball on the floor, it starts from the center backs. It starts from that's the foundation of where every team begins to play, soccer or football. So it's very important, the positioning of the back line, especially the two center backs, and very important that they understand their responsibility positionally, and also that it's not only to defend.
It's one of the things that allowed former USL Defender of the Year Aaron Long to continue his career forward and move into the national team.
Yeah, Aaron Long, a guy who can, he can defend. He can run with the best of them. He's got a little bite in his game, but the composure on the ball, positioning on the ball, when to play the pass, how to play it the right way, and that's what sort of sets him apart, makes him a full, well-rounded finished product.
Fans, don't forget you can tune in on ESPN News on August 7th at 11 p.m. for Wednesday Night Soccer, featuring two sides fighting to get back above the playoff line. Sacramento Republic FC hosting the Las Vegas Lights as the playoff battle heats up with a crucial 3 points on the line. See it all August 7th at 11 p.m. on ESPN News. Sacramento Republic, a huge game against San Antonio this weekend before they host the Las Vegas Lights, who have been as up and down as any team across the USL. Rito flying forward again. This cross blocked behind the goal.
Rito, really an impressive start. He's been the best player so far. He's up and down the line, showing good speed, putting some dangerous balls across.
And this is the perfect game for him.
Yeah.
He loves to get forward, be a part of the attack. And in a game where he's going to have a lot of freedom to do that, you could see why Coach Wolonek wanted him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And St. Louis playing in a 4-3-3, so naturally the spaces are going to be wide, and Rito has exploited those spaces already. 11 minutes in, he's already created two very good chances.
So it'll be Lima to take this one. Puts it in the box. Barlow flicks it on, cleared off the line. And then Bezecourt's shot goes over the top. St. Louis FC hanging on by a fingernail here. Still tied 0-0.
Good movement from Tom. Good flick across the box. And that could be in the back of the goal very easily. And then Vince obviously just gets under the ball there and hits it. Hits a wild one over the crossbar.
Cleared off the line there by Colin Fernandez, as we'll see our first card of the game. First card picked up there by Kasher. Masta Kasher out of Montreal. He and Fernandez, the two new signings for this team because of all the injuries. They went out and picked up a few new players, and Kasher and Fernandez brought life to this team last week, but you can see there that one's pretty obvious.
Yeah, just really late in the challenge. Deserved yellow.
That aerial ability of Tom Barlow, something that Matthias Jorgensen doesn't bring to the same level. So with Barlow in the game, it makes it 2 or 3 good options on every set piece.
Yeah, and the ability to head the ball is very important when you're a striker or when you're an attacking player. And it has actually a lot less to do with size than you think. Some players actually really want to go find the ball and head it in the back of the goal, and some kind of shy away from it. So I've played with guys that are, 6'3", 6'5", and they don't want to head the ball. And then now you play with a guy like Dax McCarty, who, he's on the smaller side, and he's jumping over those guys and head the ball. So it's really a lot more to do with the will of that player to head the ball than it is the size.
Nealis clips this one over the top. Handled well by St. Louis. Scarlett with the long touch. And St. Louis counter here. It's Greg down the right side. Closed down by Kofi in midfield.
Awesome work from Kofi.
Now Boehner's ball over the top for Dakers. Scarlett over to try and cover it out, and he's able to guide it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Scarlett a little overly aggressive in the midfield there, challenging a little too high up the field and a little bit of a sloppy touch. But the thing you have to note is the recovery of all the New York Red Bull 2 players. Very fast recovery, really aggressive to get the ball back.
You see Anthony Pulis and John Wolenek there. These two have met once in a playoff game. Anthony Pulis leading Orlando City B at the time into an opening round playoff game at Red Bull Arena against New York Red Bulls 2. New York Red Bulls 2 were on the way to their 2016 USL Championship, and they took easy care of business against Orlando in that one. Anthony Pulis now in his second year with St. Louis FC. Playoffs last year in the Western Conference. And looking to do the same here in the Eastern Conference. Fink knocks the ball up to Greg. And this is why the New York Red Bull coaching staff is so excited to watch a guy like Tolkien, just 17 years old, go up a player like Greg, 29 years old, knows how to position his body, how to use his elbows, how to create in moments like that, and is going to be a physical test for Tolkien.
Yeah, the game is moving in the direction. It's no surprise of athleticism, strength, and you need to be able to run really fast. You need to be able to be strong, and you have to have all these things. And Tolkien, we know, has the brains, has the soccer IQ, has the quality with his left foot, but he's going to have to adapt quickly to the strength and the physicalities of what the game brings.
Corner kick coming here for St. Louis. Their bread and butter throughout the season. They have created opportunities, offset pieces, the size of Fink, Greg, and Kavita in the box, along with Matt Boehner. New York Red Bulls 2, all 11 back to defend. And the whistle goes before Barlow even wins that ball. So for New York Red Bulls 2, first test they're able to pass here in this game. Tolkien can't bring that ball down. Daker's trying to go quickly. Doesn't have a teammate ready. Kadeem Daker's back in his hometown area. Daker's a native of Rosedale, New York. Spent some time in PDL with the Jersey Express just a few miles away. Chris Lima's going to get a talking to here from Greg Dopka. Daker's a goal and 2 assists last year for St. Louis. Was part of FC Cincinnati the year before and Louisville the 2 years before that. Two of the most successful franchises at the time in the USL Championship. Boehner, and also a former FC Cincinnati player, guides that one out. Dakers turns by Tolkien. Scarlett over to help. Once again, earns the goal kick.
Really good defending from Scarlett there, and good awareness from Tolkien to know that Scarlett was behind him.
Is it too simple to be? Dakers hasn't attempted to get to the ball on either of those that Scarlett's gotten. He shielded them for about 5 yards. Or were you as a winger like, it's a center back, I'm not trying anyway?
No, in any big games that I played in, you wanted to make sure that the center back knew you were there, and knew that you were going to chase down every single ball, that he was not going to have an easy night. So yeah, a little bit too easy from Dakers. He's got to maybe press him till the ball's actually out of play.
Scarlett plays this one back to Loro's feet. Loro with the drive down the line. First header by Lima, second by Fink. And Tolkien trying to bring this ball down. Kyle Gregg extending the press a little bit as Fernandez closes here on Nealis. St. Louis extends their lines for the first time really all game. And now Kofi picks it up flying forward. Now wide for Tolkien. Tolkien into the feet of Lima. Wide for Rito. Been the brightest spot in the attack so far for New York. Turns that pass over, and Elney sliding down. And it will go out against Sebastian Elney.
Some of the passes, some of the things that I see is you have to weigh up as a soccer player with a really good IQ. You have to weigh up like the percentage of the pass, the percentage that it can get completed, and the reward that there is for that percentage of completion. So like, if a pass is 100%, you're going to make that pass 100% of the time. Then normally there's not going to be much reward behind that pass. But when you make a pass that only has a 10% chance of succeeding or a 20% chance of succeeding, and there's no reward attached to it, that's probably a bad pass, And you need to be able to make those calculations on the fly in the game as quickly as possible.
Do those calculations change when you play for New York? And I've heard the term good errors, in which it allows you to then counter press when you turn that ball over.
Well, the one good thing about if you're playing in New York Red Bull 2 system is that those giveaways can sometimes lead to really fast turnovers again.
Elney's ball in the box. Barlow can't get a touch to it. Hilton comes back and clears his lines. Once again, the attack sparked through the Venezuelan right back, Edgardo Rito.
Yeah, and St. Louis really having a tough time on both flanks defending crosses.
And a lot of times it's St. Louis whose attack comes through those fullbacks pushing forward and getting crosses in. And right now struggling to defend it a little. Kofi back to the feet of Scarlett. Now Tolkien out wide. Bezecourt makes the run from inside. Can't get a touch to it, and Fink will allow that one to roll out.
Yeah, the last game we watched, here's the chance. Good ball from behind by Rito, and good ball from Elney. Good movement from Tom. They're so compact back there. The two center backs do a very good job at preventing the space in the middle of the field, and they've defended. They defended well. They haven't done much else, but they've been compacted, defended well. If you're St. Louis, you've got to find a way to stop allowing all these dangerous balls that are coming right across the face of the goal.
Celebrating its 10th episode, U.S. soccer legend Landon Donovan, USL San Diego co-owner Warren Smith joined Steal Some Time, hosted by Kelsey Steele and Scott Stewart. Get insight on USL's newest club while catching up on all the latest around the league. Listen on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe today to Steal Some Time. Landon Donovan and Warren Smith trying to launch the next professional soccer team in San Diego. Should be a soccer-rich market and should be fun to watch over the next few years. As Rito's cross gets blocked out.
Good job from Matt Boehner to deny the cross there. He needs to, for sure, be a little bit tighter to Rito and Elney on that side, because it's been a little too easy for them to get crosses across the face of the goal.
So Lemma standing over this one, looking at the left-footed in-swinger. We already saw Barlow have a header cleared off the line from a similar position. Barlow once again gets up, can't win this one. Bezecourt on the second ball. And now a foot race for the third one. It's Scarlett back to Bezecourt. Into the feet of Stroud, the ball knocked down, and Greg Dobko waves play on. And now New York able to win the ball back.
Yeah.
I think that was the right call.
Yeah, certainly. You just want to see the game continue and keep going. In that last sequence, Jordan Scarlett, awesome defending. Kofi, awesome cleaning up in midfield. And for me,
Stroud now sneaks outside. His shot deflected. They'll go out for a corner kick.
And for me, St. Louis hasn't done enough when they do win the ball. When they, you've got to have a plan for when you do actually win the ball. Good little 1-2 there, late challenge. And a good idea to strike it. Especially when you play against compact teams, it's always good to take a few pops from distance and keep them honest and make sure they're not playing too deep. That they've got to come out and block the shots.
Corner kick coming in now. Headed down on the far post, alive in the box, and the whistle goes. Tomas Gomez had it on his hands. Tom Barlow knocking it out of the goalkeeper's possession. And Greg Dobka, our head official, right on top of that one, but another dangerous corner kick here.
Yeah, Sean Nealis just gets wide open in the back post there, which I'm really surprised about. I guess there was a little bit of a pick there from Jordan Scarlett, and they get a pretty free chance. I'm not sure exactly where the foul is.
It's either on the pick from Scarlett because you saw his arm out, or maybe a little contact from Barlow on Gomez, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, tough to tell, but really good opportunity. Actually, Red Bull 2s have taken advantage of a lot of their set pieces so far, and you'd think you'd see it the other way around, but St. Louis hasn't done enough to even get, on the other side of the field, and they haven't created anything in terms of being dangerous.
Kofi furious here with the call against him, and as I said, suspended last week on yellow card accumulation on Christoph Kofi, something he's had to work on this season. This only his 15th appearance, the only player on New York to reach his limit on yellow cards. And now a chance for Hilton to put this one in. A man from South England out of Young Harris College. Clips it over to the far side. Nealis wins 2 headers. Still alive, though, for Greg. Challenged by Elney. Knocks it back out to G. Now Umar. Floating it in for Dakers, who wins the header. Scarlett gets it back out. Little soccer tennis here. And Kofi finally gets possession down on the ground. And Fink beats Barlow to that ball. And back out.
Good composure from Kofi. I like the way he started this game. I think Jordan Scarlett also has been fantastic so far.
Tolkien flies by Dakers there. And then turns it over on his pass. Aggressive step from Umar. Can New York take advantage with the center mid out of position? This one wide for Rito. The Venezuelan flying forward once again. Tries to get by 2 defenders. Gets the cross in and knocked out for a corner kick. Electric play to start the game here for Edgardo Rito down that right wing.
Yeah, Gardarito has been fantastic. Every time I've watched him play, he's been really fantastic. He splits the 2 defenders. This is like his 5th, 6th cross inside, right in the face of the goal. And because they're compact, it's been difficult for Tom Barlow to convert and get a goal. But Eduardo Rito has been the best player in the field, no question.
It'll be Lima to serve this one in once again. Goes short for Rito. Looking for the feet of Stroud. It's deflected. Now it gets through to Stroud. And it's cleared by St. Louis. So New York looking to change things up a little on the corner kick as Lima forced to put that one out to avoid the counterattack. St. Louis going to get a little more comfortable on the ball. Barlow trying to force the turnover, and the foul will go against the St. Louis native. Oscar Umar in that central midfield for this St. Louis team, his 14th appearance of the year. In his first year in St. Louis, he's become a linchpin at the defensive midfield position for Anthony Pulis.
And St. Louis is exactly what you'd expect. They're compact and they're defending well, but I don't know how much they work on, spacing and playing and the attacking. It looks like a lot of channel balls, creating confusion.
Little confusion here. Greg gets to it first.
Dumping balls in the box and creating all these awkward situations for defenders and playing some hard-nosed stuff, but and it's effective, but they haven't done enough of it, not today.
And normally the formula for knocking off New York Red Bulls too, size and strength at center forward. And you look at players like Kyle Gregg who have scored goals over the years in this league, guys like Dane Kelly who have scored this year against New York, who have that little bit of wily to take advantage of the young center backs like Sean Nealis and Preston Kilwine. Gregg here in a battle. Nealis wins the header. Massapequa native puts it out for a throw-in for St. Louis. But this is the start you want on the road. You know you're looking for at least points. You've started at a good base, 28, 29 minutes in at 0-0. Now you can start to maybe show a little more confidence in the attack.
And sort of get out of your shell and play a little bit more and create some awkward situations on the flip side as well. But I think they've been fortunate enough not to get scored on because they've had some dangerous balls put across the six-yard box, and it hasn't been comfortable for the first 29 minutes. New York Red Bull 2 certainly in charge of the game. St. Louis, we'll see now if they get out of this shell a little bit and create some more positive chances.
Throwing coming here for St. Louis.
And they've got a corner kick now where they're playing against the New York Red Bull 2 side that plays in the zone defense, which I am not an advocate for.
I could tell the way you just said that's what was coming.
So we'll see what happens here, but I just don't like the idea of St. Louis or an opposing team, if you're in the zone defense, being able to get a run up to your players that are sort of standing still in their positions.
So it'll be Fernandez over this one. Fernandez with the in-swinger left foot, floats it to the far post. Laurel gets a punch to it. Tolkien now racing out and clears it up the line only as far as Umar. A dangerous pass from Umar. Hilton handles it and at least avoids the counterattack.
Yeah, and you can see in that instance there how quickly New York Red Bull 2 almost just turned the defensive phase into an attacking one and a really dangerous chance.
We knew St. Louis would sit back. We've talked about it all game. 68% possession right now for New York Red Bulls 2 over the course of these first 30 minutes. When you talk about St. Louis growing, building a little bit, at some point they've got to push higher and possess this game. Otherwise, it's going to be an onslaught from this New York Red Bull 2 attack for the full 90 minutes. Dakers now into the attack. Turned over, and Elney taken out by Umar, and Anthony Pulis furious off the bench.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is a foul. We'll have to check it again.
And a yellow card shown, the second of the game, both to St. Louis FC.
This is not a foul for me, in my opinion. This is just a hard challenge.
So he gets there second. Elney gets the ball first, but he does make a play on the ball.
I'm not sure. To me, it looks like they get there at the same time.
You think it's 50-50?
I think it's a 50-50 challenge. If you start blowing for every 50-50 challenge, or ones that are that close, it's going to be a slow game. It's going to be a choppy one. So, but a foul it is, and we'll get a set piece here. We'll look at it. Red Bull 2 will get a chance to dump one into the box.
So Nealis and Scarlett forward for this one. You've got good size up top in Barlow and Elney for this game. Which gives you some more options and threats. It looks like it's going to be Lima to serve it in. Clips it over the top towards the far post, hits it too hard, and Gomez comes out and takes it. Tomas Gomez, experience playing against New York Red Bulls too. Won the USL Goalkeeper of the Year while with the Rochester Rhinos under Bob Lilly. Was the one team John Wolyniec, New York Red Bulls 2, were not able to beat throughout 2015 and 2016. They finally knocked them off in the postseason in penalty kicks on their way to that USL Championship.
Positioning again from Rito there on the back shoulder of the left midfielder.
Kofi flying forward to the feet of Barlow, laid off for Stroud. Now for Elney. Elney hits it, and he beats Gomez. Sebastian Elney, the Maryland Terrapin, gets the New York Red Bulls 2 on the scoreboard.
This is the best goal I've seen since I've been watching these games. This is the fantastic team goal from New York Red Bull 2. In tight spaces, one touch. Kofi, who steps into that space, has been playing aggressively all night. Quick little 1-2 from Barlow. Stroud, just the right pass, and Elney really just a rocketed shot to the near post. It's going to be tough to stop that for the goalkeeper, but love the simplicity and the professionalism of that ball from Stroud. And the near post finish, fantastic. It's really the only place he could hit it and should hit it. Awesome goal, awesome team goal. Great movement from Tom Barlow also, and in the attack. He's big center forward. He comes in between the two center backs. He lays it off one touch and spins. Really important piece of that is the way he spins and puts the center backs into a lot of doubt.
Second goal of the season for Sebastian Elney. 7th assist of the year for Jared Stroud, one of the top 5 now in the USL Championship. He has been on fire here in 2019. And New York Red Bulls, too. They've huffed and puffed this whole game, and they finally get the breakthrough here late in this first half. Rito now pushing forward once again. Gets the cross in. Falls to the feet of Dakers. Fans, don't forget you can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for New York Red Bulls 2 and St. Louis FC, and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on Red Bulls 2 next match. Go to ESPN.com and now click follow for your club. Beautiful piece of movement there for New York. And maybe, as Stroud comes flying in here, after New York has hit cross after cross, Gomez maybe just cheating a step there on Elney, thinking the cross is coming, gave that window for Elney to beat him at the near post.
It's quite possible. He's had to face so many dangerous crosses already, and it's quite possible that he had a sort of an inkling that he might cross it, but he was in a pretty dangerous position, so I'm hoping that he was not gambling on that one, but you never know.
Through ball to Dakers, one-on-one with the keeper. Laurel makes the save. The seeing eye through ball from Colin Fernandez to Dakers, and St. Louis quiet offensively in this game. They almost answer within minutes.
Awesome pass across, and Dakers here. He's got enough time to sort of dink it or find his post. He takes a little bit too much time there, and Evan Lauro is just fantastic. He's been fantastic in these one-on-one situations where his timing is good, and he's up in your face, and he's making some pretty big saves now in the last few games.
Lauro, the all-time leader in starts in New York Red Bulls 2 history, with 65 now in his career out of the University of Michigan. Red Bull Academy kid. Right now, 7 shutouts on the year. A rebound for New York Red Bulls, too. They struggled throughout the regular season most of last year. Late in the playoff, one of the last teams into the playoffs. They ended up making a run all the way to the Eastern Conference Championship for the 3rd straight year. But this year, so far cruising in the regular season. This is one of their best runs of the year. So Hilton will serve this one in. Laurel punches it once again. Umar, the first one to the ball. Gets the cross away. Kofi wins the header. And now Tolkien a chance to clear. And G handles that one well. And the handball will go against Kyle Gregg.
St. Louis has had a very positive response from the goal. They got their set pieces. They're putting those balls in hard on Evan Lauro and making it challenging for him and the defenders. So good response from them and good reaction after suffering the goal.
It's a 6-match unbeaten run right now for New York Red Bulls 2, including an 8-1 victory against Atlanta United 2, as well as that big win over Tampa between the top 2 teams in the East. Umar with the creative clearance. Lima gets knocked down from behind by Gregg. And a 3rd yellow card out the pocket for Greg Dobka here, all against St. Louis FC in this first half. It's one of the things that makes it hard when you do defend, as you start to get called for a couple of fouls and the referee starts giving out yellow cards maybe a little bit easily.
Yeah, and I think when you play in this defensive formation, yeah, you're prone to get yellow cards, but also if you don't score first, then it becomes a really difficult matchup for you, because now do you stay compact and sort of let the game go on, or do you open up a bit and try to play? So that's the one downside of playing the way St. Louis has decided to play, but it is a very effective way to play. Don't give up a lot and try to get one on set pieces or counterattacks. It is an effective way to play.
Rito able to get through the defender, flying forward again. Looking for the feet of Stroud, can't find him. And now St. Louis tries to counter. Hilton gets it to Dakers. Out wide now for Boehner, and Boehner up the line. Greg puts pressure on Scarlett. Scarlett handles it well and finds a teammate.
Yeah, Boehner there, he puts the ball up the channel and expecting Kyle Gregg to get onto that one. But, these channel balls can be exhausting as well. It can be exhausting for your center forward and for your entire team, because it's like, oh, here we go, we're defending again. So you'd like to see a little bit more clarity when they move forward and when they pass the ball to each other and not force it so much. But you're seeing a lot of channel balls from St. Louis, and I think it does take the wind out of your team's sails sometimes, not having possession of the ball.
Stroud brings this one down. Drops it back for Rito. Into the feet now of Bezecourt. Barlow's shot, and it's handled quite simply in the end by Gomez. But when the ball has moved quickly for New York, they've been able to create opportunities.
Yeah, no question about it. We look at this chance again. I mean, it's an okay strike and a good bit of play, but at the same time, St. Louis, leaving a little too much space defensively. It's okay to be in the defensive position, but you've got to make defensive plays. All right, it's not enough to just sort of be in that low line. You need to step up and close spaces. I don't think an opposing team should be able to calmly, without anyone touching you, pass the ball in your box. I think there becomes a point where you need to be a little tighter or make a tackle or make an interception.
There's a misconception that playing defensively means you're passive, but you can be aggressive in your 50-50s, aggressive when the ball's in your zone, while still playing as a defensive team.
Absolutely. I think some of their positioning's been good, but some red flags have to go off at times.
Ball over the top for Barlow to get his legs stretched. 1v1 now with Kavita. Waiting for a little support, drops it back for Stroud. Stroud already on an assist in this game. Lima's early ball in, and Elney and Bezecourt can't communicate on that one. And then Nealis gets called for the foul. Taking down Greg, and John Wolinek's turn to throw his arms out and look flabbergasted on the bench.
And make no mistake, this game is still up for grabs. I mean, St. Louis is very good at set pieces. They've got the right mentality, so they'll come and they'll stick into this game. They're still continuing to defend and be compact, so they're gonna be in this game until the end.
Well, at least it's been even. Anthony Pulis upset at the referee. John Wolenek upset at the referee.
Yeah, that's right. Both coaches don't agree with the referee.
Hilton will take this one. No surprise, the center back's going forward. Let's try and get on this opportunity. Hilton chips that ball in. Greg goes up. Nealis goes over his back a little, but wins it. Stroud now looking to counter. Turns it over. Can't find Bezecourt. Rito steps forward. Chaos here. Eventually, G comes down with it for St. Louis, but those are the moments New York Red Bulls still want to see.
Yeah, another soft foul for me. I think Jordan Scarlett's done well there to step in front and win the ball. And St. Louis lives for these opportunities. These are their goal-scoring opportunities from outside the box. They get to dump one in there now and see if they can pick up any scraps.
These set pieces are fascinating because, like you said, these are the best chances for St. Louis to score. But if they can defend them the right way, for New York, they're also their best opportunities on the counterattack.
Yeah, I don't think enough emphasis is put on the counterattack. You don't see many teams have really, really strong counterattacking abilities. And if you're just a little cleaner with the first few passes of a counterattack and you get some guys running, they could be really good, clear goal-scoring opportunities.
Hilton clips it in. Kavita brings it down. Puts it back out. Another bite at this one here coming for St. Louis. G floats in a dangerous ball. Laurel goes up and takes it off the head of Fink. And then he will calm down his troops. But a few big plays early on in this game for Laurel. The save against Dakers moments after the goal. And this one here going up over the big center back to win it.
Yeah, for Laurel, that's easy. That's easy stuff for him.
Lima now restarts the attack. Stroud with defenders around him. Drops it back for Lima. Early ball into the far post. Elney keeps it alive, but can't keep it in bounds. Closing moments of this first half, if you're John Wolnick, what's your message to your team at halftime?
The message, I think, is more of the same. They've been really professional in their approach, and they've been patient, knowing that St. Louis is sitting behind the ball. If you're Anthony Pulis, then you know, I think just a little bit more of what you're good at, right? So a little more bite, a little bit more energy, creating these awkward situations in the attack, flicking balls on, getting balls in the channel, but just maybe bringing a little bit more energy to that.
And it seemed like for this game, if New York could score first, it would go into their hands. But with Dakers getting that chance right after, it almost halted the momentum for New York and St. Louis. They've looked confident over the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. And you see here Rito again crossing another ball. And if you're St. Louis, you're away from home. So, yeah, you're only 1-0 down. You've had a few chances. You know you're going to have a few more on set pieces and counterattacks. So from their position, it's not all bad. But at the same time, it's been a little too easy for New York Red Bull to break them down.
Minimum of 2 minutes of stoppage time. Good win here of the ball for Elney. Down the line for Rito. Potentially another cross coming from him. Gets by the first defender, still on the ball. Elney has it knocked away. And now Kasher with the chance to clear, and he wins a throw-in for his team. You see right there Russell Cicerone on the bench, as is Caleb Calvert. So two dangerous attacking players available for Anthony Pulis if he needs it. Only 6 players on the bench for St. Louis, as they are still struggling with those injuries.
Yeah, and Kyle Gregg has been sort of left by himself up there today. He hasn't had much success, and to be fair to him, he's been flicking balls on and trying to get something going, but he's kind of on an island on his own in between Sean Nealis and Jordan Scarlett, so it's been a difficult night for him.
And you could see maybe Caleb Calvert, who's a similar profile, big center forward, come in and Pulis could switch to a 4-4-2, give those two strikers the opportunity to play off each other in the second half at some point if they're looking for a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering that the St. Louis have played a lot of channel balls, just having one striker being able to check in and the other one run the channel a little bit more efficiently, I think with 2 strikers that may help them.
So this could be the final play of this first half. What a huge moment it would be if St. Louis could get a goal here. Hilton goes short quickly to G. Now Hilton, plenty of time to serve this one in. Another driven ball to the far post. It bounces in the box. Kofi wins it. Cleaned up here by Umar. Second ball curled in. Boehner heads it into the middle. Barlow beats Fink to it. And it'll go out for a throw-in, and that'll be the final action of this first half. New York Red Bulls too, dominating possession throughout this game, forced to work hard. They finally get the goal in what was one of the best moves we've seen all season from the home side.
Yeah, it was a fantastic goal. Tom Barlow coming in, checking in, laying it off, and spinning is such a huge key to that goal because it makes the back line back off and watch where Tom's going. And then Elney's positioning, the pass from Stroud, that pass doesn't always have to go behind. The pass to him into feet, and awesome finish in the near post.
St. Louis FC trying to make it back-to-back wins. New York Red Bulls too right now. 6 matches unbeaten. They've had 64% possession here at home in this first half. Can St. Louis rewrite the script in the second half and come out with some energy like they did against Bethlehem? They scored 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes. So much to play for here. Friday night USL Championship, more coming up on ESPN+.
With MSG Go, the game goes where you go. So you can watch live Red Bulls games anywhere you want. It's free and easy because if you get MSG, you get MSG Go. Watch your favorite team wherever you are with MSG Go, presented by Lexus. Download it for free where you get your apps.
The fans for New York Red Bulls, too, they've gotten to see their team put it in the back of the net once here in this first half at MSU Soccer Park. David Goss and Mike Grella with you here on ESPN+. We talked about a couple star players coming to this one. Kyle Gregg, very lonely up top for St. Louis.
Yeah, he's been stranded. He's on an island. He hasn't done much. He's fought, to be fair to him. He's flicked balls on, and he's worked hard, but he hasn't been able to get anything going.
It'll be interesting to see if they can find some support in the second half. You see, he's caused a nuisance when he can. On the flip side, for New York Red Bulls, too, we talked about the young man John Tolkien coming into this game, just 17 years old, and with the physicality of St. Louis, how would he hold up? What have you seen?
Yeah, Tolkien's done okay tonight. He's done okay. A lot of the play has been on Rito's side. Rito's been fantastic, the best player for me. But John Tolkien, he's taking care of himself. He looks like a professional out there, and he looks like he's quite comfortable tonight.
Tolkien adding into the attack, which has been a big bonus for New York because they've had 64% possession. They've controlled the play, and they've had to push forward. For New York Red Bulls, too, let's get to know Matthias Jorgensen a little bit more in his first year of professional soccer in the United States, coming over from his native Denmark. He has been one of the leading scorers for New York Red Bulls, too. In just a short time, 8 goals this season's put him in the top 10. Hurt today, so not a part of the squad, just 18 years old, and we've seen him in such a short time already grow as a player.
Absolutely. Since I've been watching him, he's been fantastic. He gets better every time I watch him. Hard to believe he's still only 18. He's got a lot of maturity to the way he plays. I'm not quite sure he's a standalone center forward, but for sure an effective, quality young guy.
Played up top alongside Tom Barlow last week against the top team in the league in Tampa Bay Rowdies, and had 2 goals, and you could see why.
It was very good. Nuisance next to Tom Barlow. Both of them together were, the combination of speed and pace and strength, and Jorgensen can finish very well as well. So exciting player. A
great youth player in Denmark, looking to be a great senior player in New York. We'll be back with your first half highlights coming up next on ESPN+.
Now get some time. Sam Warner, the beauty. From distance, on the way and in. Goal, Las Vegas Lights. And Taylor with a beautiful strike. Are you kidding? Ned will go for goal. Oh my goodness.
Gents, hey, keep moving forward here. I feel like we're close, but it's all about the process. Make sure you're doing the little things right.
It's part of the community. I think it's not a mistake that you drive anywhere in the city and you'll see the Red Kickers K. I was certainly honored to play for the club and understand it's just a part of the city.
We're the longest continuously run professional soccer team in the country, which is pretty cool. We have Charleston Battery beat by one day. We played on a Friday night in '93. They played on a Saturday. We take great pride in that.
There's a really good structure in place, and there has been a really good structure in place for a long time now, even from when I was back here as a youth player. The coaching staff, the culture, the way things are done at the Kickers is at the highest level. Everyone's committed, everyone's 100% in.
We have a really strong locker room, and everybody really wants to do well for the club, and they believe in me and believe in the club and respect the history that we have as a club. So it's been a lot of fun so far, just kind of getting this group together.
Big weekend of action in USL League One, but the USL Championship continues to roll. The Phoenix Rising, 11-game win streak. They play tomorrow against LA Galaxy 2, who have found their form under Junior Gonzalez in his few games in charge. 3 straight wins for them, so that should be a fun one. Phoenix right now, the best scoring team, the best defensive team, led by Asante, who leads the league in goals and assists. That's what you want to see. North Carolina picking up Justin Rennicks on loan from the New England Revolution, and then just announced Isaac Anking being loaned to the Charlotte Independence. The New England Revolution sending 2 young, promising players to USL Championship for the remainder of the year, and New Mexico getting back to winning ways, which is huge for the playoff race. Out west, you take a look around the league. Ottawa right now locked in with the Birmingham Legion. The Fury adding Haji Barry to that side. They believe that could be the piece to take them over the top in the USL Eastern Conference. And then a bunch of big games coming up tomorrow across the East. Pittsburgh against Memphis, a big one, in North Carolina versus Indy 11. Indy 11 on points per game, currently first in the Eastern Conference. As we take a look at the current standings based on points, New York Red Bulls 2 points back of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, equal on games after that win here last week against the Eastern Conference leaders. Can they track them down here today with a victory and move to first place? And you see St. Louis knocking off Bethlehem last week and moving into the final playoff spot, but them and Charleston only 18 games played, so plenty of space for them to still make up ground on the teams in front of them. It's going to be a fascinating race in the Eastern Conference over the course of the final few weeks. When you take a look at this game here, Mike, we talked about it all first half. 63% possession for New York, 6 shots to 2, but still only a 1-goal lead.
Still only a 1-goal lead. This game's far from over. St. Louis hasn't really done a lot. They've been compact, but they haven't really closed spaces well. And it's going to be a long game for them unless they get some type of energy and something going in the attack. But right now, they haven't done much of anything. Red Bull 2 have been performing very, very well. 3
yellow cards for St. Louis, some soft, some incorrect, some correct, but it's something they're going to have to watch out for in the second half because they will be defending. They will have to foul at times. You just don't want to get called for that second yellow for no reason.
Yeah, certainly they need to be careful when they're defending that, especially the guys with yellow cards, because I fear that if they get a second yellow and a man down, this game's over.
Potentially a lot still left to play for. Can St. Louis FC find the attack here in the opening minutes of the second half? We'll have it all coming up for you next on ESPN+.
Lema gets it back. He will take a strike.
Played in. Laurel gets a hand to it.
Denied by Laurel from point blank.
He's standing on his head right now.
Marcus Epps finds some space.
Barlow putting it in, back of the net. No slowing down, number 74. New York puts the exclamation point on this one tonight.
With MSG Go, the game goes where you go. So you can watch live Red Bulls games anywhere you want. It's free and easy because if you get MSG, you get MSG Go. Watch your favorite team wherever you are with MSG Go, presented by Lexus. Download it for free where you get your apps.
New York Red Bulls hosting Toronto FC tomorrow night at Red Bull Arena. New York Red Bulls 2 hosting St. Louis FC right now, leading 1-0. David Goss and Mike Grillo with you on ESPN+. Let's take a look at the highlights from the first half, and it's all New York Red Bulls 2. Early chance here, cleared off the line from Tom Barlow.
Yeah, Tom, good movement to the near post, and he flicks it to the back post, and good defending from the St. Louis. I guess he's the right back there, but he's done his responsibility keeping the ball out of the back of the net.
For New York Red Bulls, too, though, they've got loads of opportunities, most of them coming down the right wing.
Yeah, Eduardo Rito's been their best player for sure. He splits these two guys very, very easily, and then he's crossing so many good balls across the face of the goal. He's been the most dangerous player, no question about it.
Rito, 23 years old, out of Venezuela. Hasn't started the last 2 games, back in the starting lineup, showing why John Wolyniec chooses to go with him. And New York Red Bulls, too, have had some really pretty build-up throughout this game.
Yeah, this is the best goal I've seen in a long time. You know, Kofi plays it in there. Tom comes deep, plays one-touch, spins. You see that whole back line, you know, just drop off when Tom spins there. You see this pass in here. Tom, just one little touch, and boom, he's off. And now the whole back line's retreating. Simple pass, awesome movement from Elney, and awesome finish, obviously. But you see this movement from Elney here. He just sort of opens up. He doesn't run in behind and make it difficult. He just makes enough space for him to get the ball inside his feet and be able to shoot it. So he really, you know, simplifies this run by just opening up and doesn't overcomplicate it like you see a lot of young strikers do. You know, they try to dart in behind you, and, you know, just a little bit of opening up is good.
Elney, his second goal of the season, and then just a minute and a half later, Kadeem Dakers almost makes it 1-1. Laurel comes up with the big save there.
Yeah.
And New York Red Bulls, too, remain in the lead. They will head on the road after this game to the Hartford Athletic. Only about 3 home games left for New York Red Bulls, too, as you see that away-heavy schedule at Nashville, at Swope Park, and then at Indy 11, which is going to be a tough game. And then on the flip side, for St. Louis, they have all those games at hand, so they got to start making them up. You see the tight window there between August 7th and August 10th, 2 games in that week. Then they get a little break at Indy 11 versus Ottawa, who just picked up Haji Bari, and then against Hartford Athletic. So not an easy stretch going forward for St. Louis. And at halftime, both these teams making a substitution. So it looks like Russell Cicerone already on the field for Anthony Pulis. He comes on to add to the attack for his side. He'll come on in place of, it looks like, Masta Kasher. Kasher going off. He had an early yellow card. And then on the flip side for New York Red Bulls, too, I don't know who came on.
Yeah, I'm still looking. You sure they made 2 subs?
Nope, not sure at all. So 1 substitution made by St. Louis FC. New York Red Bulls, too, coming out. Oh, and there is the substitution.
That's Kilwine.
Preston Kilwine coming on at center back in place of Sean Nealis. So Nealis gets 45 minutes under his belt. New York Red Bulls do play tomorrow at home, so Nealis could be available for that team. Could be one of the reasons. So Kilwine comes on here. And this is an interesting test for Kilwine. Just a rookie to go up against Greg in this matchup.
Yeah, he'll learn a lot from the experience. Greg is, as much as he hasn't had anything going for himself, he's worked really hard. He's been tough to play against. He's a physical guy, so it will be good for Kilwine to put himself up against him, up against Craig.
Scarlett sprays this ball wide for the goal scorer, Elney, who goes up and wins the header. So Cicerone will come on as a like-for-like sub along that left side. But he has been awfully dangerous in his young career. 4 goals, 2 assists this year. Was first-team All-American at the University of Buffalo. The first Buffalo player ever drafted to Major League Soccer. Spent his first year as a pro with the Portland Timbers 2 team. And last year with FC Cincinnati. He's made 17 appearances already this year. Lost his spot in the starting lineup. But you talked about needing to see more from St. Louis. Clearly, Anthony Pulis agrees. Sub right out of halftime shows he's trying to shake things up.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a little bit more energy in the second half you can see from them. So hopefully they'll keep it up and get some balls in the box, get some dangerous situations.
First one in, Cicerone gets his head to it. So an early opportunity for the young man out of Bloomfield, Michigan.
Yeah, immediately there you see 3 or 4 green shirts in the area. And that's already a change because before they were just crossing balls and there was not many numbers in the box. Now They're getting 3-4 numbers in the box, so maybe Anthony Poulos has told them to get down the line, cross balls, and get some numbers in the box to actually be a threat.
Kavita comes flying forward to win that one. G clips it up the line.
And G, you see that ball there, and it's just a straight ball with a straight run, and it's like one of the first things you learn. That those two things don't match. It either has to be, a straight ball with a diagonal run or a diagonal ball with a straight run, and straight balls and straight runs don't normally work.
The simplicity of the game sometimes. Ball through here for Stroud. Stroud looking to cut it back for Bezecourt. Bezecourt pressured, and it's won by Umar. Huge win there by Oscar Umar, going back towards his own goal. Kilwine here under pressure. He's able to keep possession, flying forward. A crunching tackle, no call made, and New York continues to play.
Kilwine took one guy on too many there, but that was a fantastic bit of play for him from the second half substitute.
Preston Kilwine, a rookie out of Florida Gulf Coast University. Stepped into the starting lineup after Sean Nealis moved up to the Major League Soccer side, has now come back to the bench a little bit more as Tim Parker and Aaron Long have returned to the Red Bulls lineup. Pushing Sean Nealis into more minutes here with New York Red Bulls too.
Cicerone on that last play. You'd like to see him pull the trigger or play that little dink, that little pass in behind. But he sort of just keeps going, waiting for something to happen. Nothing ends up coming of it.
Dakers in a battle with Tolkien. Tolkien goes to the ground, wins the ball. And goes back the other way, finds the feet of Kofi. Stroud keeps possession. Barlow lays it back for him. The Colgate man with the ball over the top for Elney, and Kavita wins the header.
Yeah, Tolkien starts that little bit of play there. That could have been much better than what it turned out to be. But Tolkien wins the sliding challenge. And not only, it's not enough to win it, he gets up, he has a composed pass into the midfield, and it begins a small type of counterattack where Tom holds the ball up, they get it out wide, and then they just missed the last piece of that, which was switching the ball. If they switch the ball there, there's tons of space, the team advances, and it's a form of a counterattack, and really close to accomplishing it from a simple play from John Tolkien.
And John Wolenek said to us he knew last week that Tolkien was going to play left back in this game. That's part of the reason why it adds to your attack to have a player of that quality on the back line who can step in and play up the wing or step into midfield.
And because he does have a lot of quality, you still don't really know where he fits best, but awesome play there at left back position just now.
It's going to be interesting to see if that is a positive in his career because his flexibility is good for coaches, or a negative because sometimes when a coach sees you as something, then you can fight for a spot there. When you're flexible, now it's hard for you sometimes to lock down one specific position.
Yeah, and then you don't want to be a guy that's okay at everything. You want to be a guy that sort of has his one or two positions and that can really develop in them and experience a lot of time in those positions. So
Elney here, the lone goal so far. Beautiful switch ball for Tolkien. Tolkien clips one in. Cicerone back to defend, and he clears it. Kofi brings it down, beats the first man. Now looking for a teammate. Stroud, an assist already in this game. Has it knocked away by Fink, who keeps it out from a corner kick and puts it out for the throw-in. Sam Fink has been composed at right center back throughout this game. A rock for St. Louis out of the Scott Gallagher Academy. Along with Tom Barlow, who he's facing off against. Those two grew up playing together. Quickly taken throw in. Big clearance, and Scarlett goes back to chase it.
Yeah, the one thing with Kavita and Fink is that they've stuck to their roles. They're close. They're closing space. They're close to each other. They're still working, and they haven't given up. They haven't given too many easy chances away. To be fair, they've defended very well when the ball has come across that 6-yard line. So the two center backs from St. Louis keeping them in this game in a lot of ways.
Center back has been a strong position for Anthony Pulis. Went with 5 in the back on the road against Atlanta United in Open Cup quarterfinals. They gave up 1 goal in the 55th minute and then held on, almost tied it up, and then conceded in the 95th to lose 2-0, but a strong performance against one of the most dangerous attacks basically in North American soccer history. It's Joseph Martinez, Emerson Heineman, P.T. Martinez, Justin Miram. Shows the quality along that back line for Pulis. Kilwine, the good ball into the feet of Tolkien. Now flying forward. Maybe a little too unselfish there from Lima.
Yeah, the simple things that John Tolkien does is, the weight of that pass to miss the first guy and arrive to the, I think it was at we'll see here again. But John Tolkien, the weight of that pass to get it over to
Lima, I think it was.
To Lima, obviously Lima then tries to play it one touch again, but the weight of that pass, he can decide whether he wants to pass that one time, whether he wants to take a touch, whether he wants to strike you first time. And that, to a lot of people, that may look like just a simple pass, but there's a lot of composure and a lot of thought in the way he delivers that ball and the way he picks Lima out.
Kilwine down the line for Tolkien.
Again, the position of Rito, on the shoulder.
Early ball from Rito. Barlow can't get to it. And Fink clears the deflected ball.
Yeah, again, really good defending from the two St. Louis center backs from Fink there in that occasion. But Rito, again, positioning, power, pace to get, and even this pass across the face of the box. It's been really good from him tonight. Really awesome performance.
And for Rito, the question marks are when he's forced to defend. So for this game, perfect for him because he's always going downhill, pushing forward.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm a big fan. I think he's done really, really well. I think his intentions are always there. And
Lima serves it in. Knocked down. Tolkien with the second ball in. The flag's still down, and now it goes up on Stroud. And once he puts it in the net, Jared Stroud looking for his 10th goal of the year, so he'll disagree. We look at the replay here, and you think Rito's a player who could potentially fill in at the Major League Soccer level?
Yes, I do think so. I think he's got a lot of pace. He's smart on the ball. And he's an exciting player to watch on top of everything else.
His first year with New York, coming from a club called Metropolitanos out of Venezuela. 23 years old. Good friends with Christian Casares in Venezuela and came along with him to New York, but with injuries wasn't able to get on the field at all last year.
Yeah, tonight he's shown that he's a level above everyone else. I don't see any other player on the entire field that's brought the type of energy and speed and pace and excitement to the game that he has tonight.
Umar called for the foul.
Again, I don't know, but these look like normal challenges to me, a lot of them, and
I think Umar would agree with you.
Getting a little too picky, I think.
Oscar Umar, the Villanova alumni, part of the Right to Dream Academy, bringing him to the United States along with many other players out of Ghana. Bezecourt clips this one to the far post. Header! And an opportunity there. It looks like it fell to Kilwine, who could not get it on frame. New York's been dangerous on set pieces. And no one marks Kilwine the entire time.
Such a strange play. I don't know how you leave Kilwine there alone, like 7 yards away from him on the back post, the big center back like that. Those center backs obviously love those situations. And then I don't know how Kilwine misses that chance, So, but it was a strange play for sure. I don't know what marking schematic that is, but I'm not a big fan of that one either, leaving big center backs on the back post unmarked.
Kilwine still yet to score a goal in his professional career. Conversation now between Greg Dopka and Zeno Cho, our assistant referee. John Wolonek once again upset. Anthony Pulis upset as well right now. It's Greg Dopka, our head official, goes over to chat. Russell Cicerone comes on at halftime, opening 12 or so minutes as we get confirmation here of what's going to happen. Looks like a card won't be given. What do you make of the way St. Louis has played the opening 15 or so minutes of the second half?
It's been a little bit better, and their defending's been a little bit better as well, but it's really a lot more of the same. You know, they're dumping in these long free kicks, and it's really hopeful attacking play. You know, to me, that's what it looks like. At least it's channel balls, long free kicks, set pieces, and it's just really, in my opinion, it's hopeful soccer. You know, and doesn't look like they're really going to put anything together. I do like the addition of Cicerone. I think that he's gone at guys a few times in 1v1 situations, and he's done well.
So the head official, Greg Dobka, talking to both coaches now. We'll try and get confirmation for you of what's going on. And we will continue to play on. No cards shown to any player. Our confirmation is we don't know what happened.
Okay.
So it'll be a set piece here from Hilton. He fakes off it. Fernandez takes it but drives it low. Another opportunity coming here. Ball driven in. Elney deals with the second one. G put under pressure. Does just enough to avoid the counterattack. Good job there from Paris G. And another big collision in midfield. No whistle this time as we play on. Dacres now flying forward. 1v1 with Tolkien. His cross gets to Kilwine, and Kilwine almost leaves it on a plate for Greg.
A sloppy couple of minutes there, and a big challenge in the middle of the field as well. I think it was a clean challenge.
Sebastian Elney back on his feet now, and
Dacres does well.
Here.
Yeah, good ball across the box.
And we just haven't seen him go at Tolkien almost at all this game, where Dacres, 10 years older, has the speed, has the physicality. You'd think that'd be an advantage, a thing St. Louis would want to try and push throughout this game.
Yeah, he's made it easier for John Tolkien for sure. He hasn't tested him really. He hasn't sort of unbalanced him or tested him in a lot of different scenarios. And even in the last one, he does put a good ball across the box, but hey, you'd like to see him be more aggressive.
Foot race here. Cicerone gets to it. 1v1 with Rito. Cuts in. Rito just gets a touch to it. And now Hilton has it knocked away by Kofi. And a whistle will go in his favor. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. St. Louis FC, arguably the best academy in the USL. We talked about all the players that came through. Scott Gallagher right now. Lawson Redmond, Jansen Miller, Kip Keller, Nishi Vlastos, as well as one of the backup goalkeepers in Patrick Schulte. All 5 academy players with this club. They've got Vlastos on the bench here today. Schulte started and won a penalty kick shootout in the opening rounds of the Open Cup. So St. Louis helping produce the next generation of stars, including, of course, most recently with Josh Sargent, who chose to go over to Europe to start his pro career. Spent his entire youth career with St. Louis. Scott Gallagher. Of course, some of the best players in history. Taylor Twellman, Tim Ream. Some of the players that have come through in St. Louis. Tom Barlow and Sam Fink on the field in this one. Hilton, the long ball over the top. Kilwine heads it down. Tolkien can't keep that one in, so it'll be a throw-in coming for St. Louis. One substitution already made by either team at halftime. What do we have left for these final 30 minutes? Cicerone cuts in. A little bit of space. His shot knocked down. Rito back to the feet of Loro, and Loro will blast that one out.
Good bit of play from St. Louis there. Like the overlapping run, came a little bit too slow. And again, positioning, I think it might have been G who was coming around. And great idea, but he's 10, 15 yards where he probably should have been and could have created a really dangerous situation.
Paris G out of the Whitecaps Academy, played at Simon Fraser University, which is the only non-American university to play in the NCAA.
Oh, wow.
Division II team. You learn something new
Yeah.
every time you do a game with me,
no.
Grella. It's the dream. Now
That
you
is
can go
true.
around and be like Simon Fraser, baby, your favorite D2 program.
That is true. I do learn a lot when I'm hanging out with you.
G in his first year with St. Louis, spent last year with the Tulsa Roughnecks. Rumor has it have changed hands on the ownership level.
And the game's been sloppy now for the last 10 minutes.
Who's that better for? St. Louis or New York?
Well, you know, if the game is open and a little bit hectic, I think it suits the New York Red Bull 2 team. But I think when it's just sort of sloppy, and St. Louis is very compact. I mean, look at this picture of them now. I mean, they're all standing within 12 yards from line to line. So what I mean is the defensive line to the midfield line to the forward line. I mean, there's only 12 yards between them, and then...
And they're, what, 15 yards wide at the same time?
15 yards wide. I mean, it's impossible to play through the middle of them.
You see some young members of the Rampage there. New York Red Bulls, too, developing some of the best young players and supporters in the United States. Sal Esposito on the bench, another academy player for New York, along with John Tolkien for this one. Ben Mines, of course, just 18 years old, a young homegrown player. See Scarlett down behind the play.
Yeah, and I, you know, St. Louis now, they've played a lot of long balls forward, and that's okay. If, you know, there's a striker checking in and he's knocking it down for another guy, you know, particularly English teams play with these sort of two strikers where one guy's like a hold-up man and he holds the ball up, a big number 9 or big 11 or whatever, and he holds the ball down and lays it off, and then you get the third man running and the fourth man running. You get these guys running off the ball. You don't see that here. These are just balls going into really nowhere. They're kind of wishful thinking, sort of sloppy, just hopeful passes.
Tolkien with an early ball in over Barlow's head, taken by Gomez. You've definitely seen an addition in the attack from Cicerone since halftime. Question is, will Calvert come on as well and maybe help out Greg? Cicerone pressuring Scarlett. Scarlett slide tackle forces it out.
That's a goal kick, I'm pretty sure. That's a goal. I think it's a goal
Is
kick.
a corner kick coming?
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying it should be a goal kick. And we'll see it again here.
They're properly refereeing the game.
Cicerone has done well since he's come on. Yeah, it goes off Cicerone, I'm pretty sure. But he's done well. He's been dangerous. He's run, you know, plenty. He's taken guys on, and he's I like the way he's approached the game. He's been clever in a lot of little situations. Nothing too dangerous yet, though.
Hilton will serve this in. Puts it on the near post. Rito knocks it down. Still alive, and Stroud will finally clear. Run down there by Fernandez. Hilton's second ball is blocked, and it lands to Barlow's chest. Lima out to Rito. And the Venezuelan get forward again. Back inside for Lima. Out wide here for Stroud. He's got green and red jerseys across him. Puts the ball across the face. And can't find a teammate. And it'll roll out for a goal kick.
Good positive play, though. Really like that play. Rito to slow it down. Tom begins this play by slowing it down. And then we get Stroud there to whip the ball across. But that's the end of the play. The beginning of that play that lets that happen is Tom's dropping into the midfield. He's holding the ball up, playing it out wide, spinning off. And, you know, Rito just great composure, great IQ to slow it down, play a good pass. I think Lima plays it down one touch. So that's a good bit of polished play there, a quality play.
Layoff here. Fernandez gets forward. Clips it across. Gets it all the way to Cicerone. Early ball from Cicerone. And Loro's the one to take it.
It's Cicerone, like we've said many times now. He's had a positive impact on the game, but now he's lacking that final ball, that final danger pass or shot. You know, so you'd like to see him either pull the trigger a little quicker or just be more effective in his attacking play.
Rito over dribbles there, but for Cicerone, that's why he was taken out of the starting lineup. Replaced last week, continued again here today, but you have to think with his play, he's helped earn his time a little more. Colin Fernandez furious here at Jared Stroud. Stroud and Dakers both down on the ground. It looked like a card will be coming for Stroud. Now, Greg Dopka has to deal with some hot heads first. the trainer being called for here. Stroud is still down behind the play.
Yeah, I'm afraid Stroud doesn't play the ball here. He sort of gets in the way and kind of commits this foul.
For Stroud, 9 goals, 7 assists. It's been an electric season. And you see Lima plays the ball and Stroud just collides with Dakers.
Yeah. Yes, Stroud knows he's beat there. The ball goes over his head, so then he just does whatever he can to get in the way of Dakers. So it's certainly a foul on him. Hopefully he's not hurt too bad.
Right now they're dealing with his right hamstring. You see Janos Luba, one of the players warming up for New York. They've already used one substitution on Preston Kilwine. They've got Alan Yanez, Janos Luba, Sal Esposito on the bench, Ben Mines, and Amarildo de Sousa, the young Brazilian. On the flip side, I mentioned in the first half, only 6 substitutes available for St. Louis because of their injury issues. For field players, they have Sean Reddles, they have Bradley Kadem Fewo, Nishi Vlastos, and Caleb Calvert. And a yellow card shown finally here to Jared Stroud, which I think was going to be the original play.
Yeah, that's right. It's correct. It's the correct play. He doesn't play the ball. He knows he's beat, so he throws himself in front of the defender, but certainly it's a yellow card.
Stroud hoping while he was down that maybe Greg Dopka would forget, but he did not.
Yeah, I think that was part of his, well, hopefully his hamstring's okay, because he looks like you said, he's holding that right hamstring.
See the replay here once again. He may have taken a knee
Little dead
to the
leg.
back of the leg.
Those are not fun. But
at least it's nothing serious.
Yeah.
You hope. And Stroud now going over, as he has to talk with his coach before he comes back on for New York Red Bulls 2. They get 8 days off after this game before they head to Dillon Stadium for the first time ever against the Hartford Athletic. Then a midweek matchup here on Wednesday night against Bob Lilly's Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who are starting to move up the Eastern Conference. And then they travel to Nashville. Nashville picking up Forrest Lasso on loan last week for the year from FC Cincinnati, so a huge upgrade for Nashville SC in what is their final year in the USL. Stroud comes flying back on into the play. And that one flicked on into the hands of Loro. Early punt from Loro.
And you just get the feeling that St. Louis is staying in this game for a reason. Like they're going to get another chance and they're going to be dangerous.
Conrito double the lead here. New York Red Bulls walking a tightrope right now. Ball played in, knocked down in the box. And the second clearance off the face of Elney, who goes down holding his face. And our head official does what he's supposed to do and stops the play. Potential head injury.
It takes a pretty good clearance to the head there. Hopefully he's okay.
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. You see that ball go off Elney's face, but you said it, and Coach Wolenek said it before the game, is you don't want to get too complacent and you don't want to get frustrated by the flow of the game. You know there's a chance coming here for St. Louis FC. For New York, having all this possession, having all these shots, only having a 1-goal lead, you're putting yourself in danger.
Yeah, I think you are a little bit dangerous, but as long as you're alert, it's okay. They've New York Red Bull 2 has still counterattacked. They've still attacked. They're looking for that second goal, which is good. I think they just need to be careful from a counterattack and for a set-piece goal. And those sometimes, you're playing against St. Louis, they haven't really done too much in the attacking third. But to give up a goal now on a set-piece or a counterattack would really be a blow. So just be alert. If you're New York Red Bull, especially in that back line, organizing, talking, and be alert. I know it seems like St. Louis is not doing much, but with, one set-piece, they could be back in this game.
The ball returned to New York Red Bulls. A good bit of sportsmanship there. As Kilwine can't keep possession for his side. So it looks like Cicerone and Dakers have swapped wings, which will be interesting. Cicerone's been more aggressive. Now Tolkien will have to defend a little bit more here in the rest of the second half.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if St. Louis can get something going down either flank, really.
Scarlett's long ball over the head of Barlow. Fink can't handle it. Umar comes back to help defend, and now Dakers will pick up possession. Good bit of play there from St. Louis. Fernandez switches the field, the Chicago Fire Academy alum. Just in his third game with St. Louis. Cicerone now charging down the right. Clips that ball in. Only finds Lima. And then he collides through Lima and gets called for the foul.
There again, those are those counter-attacking situations. You don't want to really be too exposed in these situations.
Stroud here. Back to the feet of Lima. Tolkien trying to get by a defender. He's able to keep the ball. Back out wide for Barlow. Now into the path here.
And you know, Barlow, he's been good and effective when he drops in the midfield, but he's had a tough night with the two big center backs, Fink and Kavita. He certainly has. You know, he's been second to a lot of balls in the box, and he's been a little bit bullied in the box by the two big center backs. You know, they've gotten to a lot of balls before him, and you could tell he's dropping deeper and deeper, and you see him down. You see him on the sidelines more, and normally you see Tom Barlow in between the 18-yard line, you know, in the center of the field where he can be most dangerous.
So Caleb Calvert coming on for Colin Fernandez. So you'd expect this to be a formation change. Potentially a 4-4-2 coming up here for St. Louis. Calvert, the big body, former Chivas USA, homegrown out of Wrightwood, California. Just 22 years old, but has played professional soccer now for 4 years. Immediate there from Calvert as he wins that header on the near post. And a yellow card coming here for John Tolkien.
Again, I don't know if that's a yellow card. I mean, he's late, and it's a foul for sure. But it's not really stopping a counterattack, and it's not a malicious foul in any way. So
could partially be for the reaction from Tolkien.
Yeah.
The foul called against him.
That's true.
So 5 yellow cards in this game, 3 in the first half to St. Louis, 2 in the second half here for New York Red Bulls too. And we've talked about the isolation of Kyle Gregg throughout this game. Can Calvert alleviate some of those issues? About 15 minutes left here. Ball clipped over the top, a great opportunity. Laurel goes through 2 attacking players, wins the ball as both St. Louis forwards are down on the ground.
Pretty impressive play there from Lauro. You have the advantage. You see the ball and you can use your hands, but the two St. Louis strikers there, really, really dangerous challenge into Lauro.
So Caleb Calvert has been on the field for a minute. He's won a header, and now he's picked up a yellow card. Called for the contact with Lauro. It's a tough one there. I mean, he goes into Lauro's side, but there's not really much he can do at that point with Lauro coming off his line.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when you're a soccer player, or you know, it's like being like a wide receiver in the NFL, coming over the middle and not knowing who's waiting for you. That's sort of like what that play's like. You know, you're in the box and you're looking at the ball and you don't know where the big goalkeeper is.
And in the end, Calvert probably came off worse for that contact.
Yeah,
and he got the yellow card.
The strikers usually do.
Goalkeeper is always protected. Foul will go against Rito here.
And there's just sort of been this lull in the game now, the last 5 minutes, where you see St. Louis is getting a little bit more favorable field position. Look how spread they are. They're open all over the field. You know, these long balls are actually starting to create a lot of danger.
Greg gets in here. Scarlett goes down, and Greg Daupka points wave on from our center official, and Kyle Gregg wants the penalty kick called.
Yeah, and you could just feel it, right? You can feel it coming. You can feel that lull in the game. You can feel St. Louis is becoming more dangerous and open and free in the way that they're attacking.
And you can see in the 40 seconds that Calvert's been on the field how more uncomfortable Scarlett and Kilwine have looked on the 3 long balls since then.
Yeah, he's an opposing figure here. He does kind of touch the ball, and I don't think Greg does enough to get a penalty for himself. But last-ditch defending, really dangerous from Jordan Scarlett, but he ends up touching the ball. So it's ends up being an excellent play. You never want to be the last man sort of in that position on the ground with the striker on the inside of you.
Don't forget, fans, after this big weekend of action, you've got Wednesday night soccer coming up on August 7th at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. 2 sides fighting for the playoffs. Out in the Western Conference, Sacramento Republic FC hosting the Vegas Lights as the playoff battle heats up in the Western Conference. a must 3 points for both those sides. As Eric Winalda and Simon Elliott's groups are looking to turn their season around right now. Basically 3rd through 12th in the Western Conference, all packed in. Who will come out on top? In the East, St. Louis FC, currently the last team in the playoffs. As we enter August, they would love to come away with a road point, if not more here. And they are starting to grow in this game, getting some more opportunities. They've increased their possession to 40% in this game. Went into halftime at 33% possession.
The substitutions have definitely helped them, and the change in formation have certainly helped them. They're in the game now. There's a lot more energy. Seems like these long balls that they're playing, they're actually flicking onto someone running onto it.
It looks like Alan Yanez is off the bench, ready to go for New York. You'd expect him to come on at left back, either for John Tolkin or push John Tolkin into central midfield. But Coach Wolenek talked to you before the game about Tolkin's trouble getting through full games, a little bit of cramping, lack of fitness at times.
Yeah, so I'm told he just turned 17, right? So still plenty of development there for him. He's only 17 years old. He's got to learn, to play at this level for this many times and this many games in a row. So it's not about can you do it for 90 minutes. Can you do it for 90 minutes at this level? And then can you do it for 90 minutes week in and week out, sometimes twice a week? So those are the things that he'll learn, and I'm sure he'll grow and get stronger and build his endurance as time goes. But he's still only 17.
So we'll see what the substitution is. Tolkin played center midfield against Tampa Bay. Last week, Kyle Duncan picked up a red card in the 60th minute, slid to left back for about 15 minutes, and went off with a calf cramp. As you said, learning to play at this level for the bulk of time. He's got a chance to serve one in here, and he puts that one over everything and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that was unlike him, that cross there. And you got to wonder, is he getting tired? Is he fatiguing? At this point in the game is usually when he comes out.
And it looks like it'll be Edgardo Rito this time. So Alan Yanez will come on at right back. Rito quieter here the final few 15, 20 minutes, but a bright spot throughout this game for New York.
Yeah, he's been the best player on the field for me. And he's been fantastic every time I've watched him play. I'm happy for him. He seems like he is a really nice guy, and he's certainly a fantastic soccer player. So to see his energy up and down the line, his the way he invents and creates and gets out of sticky situations with the ball, some really a lot of quality when he crosses the ball. I'm happy for him. He played very well tonight.
Yanez coming back on, just returning from international duty with Guatemala. As Barlow puts some pressure on there. Alan Yanez, his 7th appearance of the year. Kilwine just knocking that one away from Calvert. Well, once again, we see how dangerous St. Louis has become now when all those flick-ons are able to find a teammate with more numbers high up the field. Dakers cuts in. Good quick shot, but he can't get it on frame. And a tip, so a corner kick coming.
Interesting moments in the game for New York Red Bull, too. And this is where they come into some conflict, I think. They're committing numbers. They're still attacking, still pressing. And then the back line wants to shore up the win, and they're way too far back. So you're talking about 50, 60 yards between the front line and the back line, leaving a lot of space and a lot of, very susceptible to counterattacking goals and to quick breaks. So that's, I think, they find a lot of conflict in those situations.
Hilton's ball in. Loro first to it once again. He does just enough, and now Tolkin looking to lead the break. He's got Stroud on the opposite side of the field. Hits the big switch. Bezecourt takes it down. Now into the path of Stroud. Closing from a defender here. Stroud cuts into Barlow, and his shot on the hands of Gomez.
Awesome play. And not easy to do what Vince Bezecourt does there. Everyone in the stadium knows what he has to do there. He has to take one touch and then pass it with the next touch. And he does that. He takes 3, 4. But obviously, the quicker he can do that, the better. And he does that well. Stroud, the composure to really lay one on a platter for Tom Barlow. And Barlow, sort of makes it really easy for Gomez.
And you hate to be too difficult with anyone. Tom Barlow, 10 goals and 11 appearances.
Yeah, it's hard to critique him.
But he's
on scoring goals.
He's slowed down a little over the last few games. He's had looks that he was putting away the first 5 games of the year that he hasn't put away. We saw against Atlanta United too, and didn't matter. It ended up 8-1 in that game. We saw it against Tampa Bay. He set up Jorgensen but didn't finish himself.
Yeah.
and a few half chances here today.
He has slowed down a little bit, and it's completely normal. I think if he didn't slow down at the pace he was at, he wouldn't be here. He'd be in Barcelona or Bayern Munich or one of those teams. So, but certainly, yeah, you'd like to see him hit that one really hard and low.
Ball played out wide. G can't get to that one.
Again, G's positioning just a little too deep. They need a goal. They need to get back in the game. You'd like to see him a little bit higher, a little bit more aggressive in his take a little bit more risk. And, that one, he can get there to that ball and cross it.
Giannis, right back out of Guatemala, a full Guatemalan international already at just 21 years old. Made his debut against Argentina. It's never a bad opponent to play against. He will try and take some of the air out of this game for New York Red Bulls, too. Looking to move to 7 games unbeaten. With a win here, they would move to first place in the USL Championship Eastern Conference for at least a day. This one comes across, and Kilwine hits the big clearance. Tampa Bay Rowdies heading to the Charleston Battery tomorrow. The Battery just one spot ahead of St. Louis in the standings. Both of them, though, coming in with 2 to 3 games in hand on every other opponent for this one. Giannis gets to that one.
That's not a foul.
And the foul will go against him.
I'm not sure that's a foul. But one thing I really respect about St. Louis is they have an identity. They know what they're doing. It's clear what they're going to do. They're compact. They're playing defensively. Even to have this type of composure and know what their formation is and know what their identity is, I do really respect that. And now they're still in the game. They're getting set pieces. They're getting chances. And their identity is very clear. On the flip side of that, New York Red Bull, too, same thing. Identity is very clear. They want to press. They want to play high energy. And I really like that. The teams that I think are unsuccessful are the ones that their identity is not clearly defined.
Big chance here. Can this go to St. Louis's script? They've defended well. Hilton curls it in, and it goes over Loro's crossbar. This is the 1 or 2 chance that St. Louis has been waiting for this whole game. Not able to take advantage there from Hilton.
Yeah, lacking qualities on their set pieces certainly tonight. They have not been dangerous in their set pieces, as we would have expected more from them.
Loro fortunate to see that one go over the top. Loro's made all the saves he's had to. The big save, though, was about a minute after the goal. Kadeem Dakers could have made it 1-1, taken all the momentum away from New York, and Loro came out off his line and made a big save.
Yeah, in that situation, Dakers is a lot of times what I found in my career and what I find from watching a lot of the game is that the first touch is the most important touch, and it sets you up for your goal. And he takes a perfect first touch there, and then sort of doesn't pick the right finish, the right shot. I think he could go over him, or he could pick the corner and hit it low. Sort of just hits it right in the middle. But to Loro's credit, I mean, he was right there and close and closing him down. And you have to make a lot of quick decisions, and you don't have a lot of time.
Otherwise, for Loro, he's dealt with a lot of contact on set pieces, a lot of corner kicks to his far post. He's gotten a hand on every one of them.
Yeah, he's been fantastic on defensive set pieces, and even the one play where Greg and Calvert come and try to smash him. They say goalkeepers are crazy, and it's true. They really are crazy. They get into these head-on collisions, and totally. You got to be fearless to play in that position.
Hilton wants to take this one quickly, trying to get New York to back off the set piece. Now, Fink is forward, Kavita forward. Options in the box in Greg and Calvert. Can St. Louis finally make one count? Trailing 1-0 here all second half. Hilton curls it in. Headed away the initial one by Elney. A collision there between St. Louis teammates, and Bezecourt's looking to break. He gets by the last man in G. It's a foot race. Umar trying to catch him. It's 1v1 here. Umar gets a touch to it, and a foul on the top of the box. And a red card coming here for Oscar Umar as the last man. End-to-end action in the final moments of this one, as Oscar Umar is sent off for St. Louis FC.
What an amazing bit of play from Vince Bezecourt. This is really fantastic stuff here. You know, he gets past the last defender, but a lot of guys are fast, but it's difficult to be fast with the ball. And Vince Bezecourt is that.
And Umar doesn't get a touch on the ball. Doesn't get much of a touch on Bezecourt, but looks like it's on the legs as he goes by.
I'm not sure about that one, looking at that one again also. I'm just not 100% sure that he touches Bezecourt at all.
Now, once Greg Dobka calls a foul, whether it's correct or not, he has to show the red card because it's last man.
If you call the foul, it's a red card. No question about it.
He does call it outside the box, so not a penalty kick.
Yeah, but it's certainly a red card if he believes that there was contact.
Right.
Obviously, we don't have the advantage of VAR, the VAR system, or else we could look back at it and look at it in 20 different angles and slow it down. But yeah, red card. Vince Bezecourt, awesome bit of play there. And Red Bull 2, a little bit unfortunate because I think that's a goal.
So now a set piece coming right on the top of the 18 to the right of the D. You've got Bezecourt, Stroud, and Kofi standing over it. Now Kofi will step off. Will it be the left foot of the captain, Vincent Bezecourt, or the right foot of Stroud? Bezecourt to hit it, curls it up off the crossbar, and Elney taps it in for his second goal of the game, third of the season, and it might be the one to seal it for New York Red Bulls 2.
Really good free kick from Vince Bezecourt. He just kind of floats that one to the far post. Not a lot of power on it. It's just a perfect free kick, and it's actually a really good save. And Elney, I don't think he's going to get an easier goal than that. Look at the defender. Look at some of the defenders in that picture, though. It's just caught frozen in their position. No one reacts to the rebound.
And it
so
went
I think
off the crossbar, off of Gomez's calf, and didn't go in the goal.
Yeah, I think Anthony Poulos will be mad with the reaction on that one. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean they prevent the goal, but the reaction was not very good from the St. Louis defenders.
So Umar able to avoid the goal for a moment, but sent off, and now it looks like inevitable for New York Red Bulls 2 here. They will move to 7 games unbeaten in a row in USL Championship action, and after a little bit of a lull for New York midway through the season, they have gotten back to the form they had early on. It was the best start to a USL season in New York Red Bull 2 history. Slowed down a little in the middle, but now these last 7 games they've been cruising, and they've done it against a range of opponents in Ottawa, St. Louis, and Tampa, and also the big wins against Bethlehem and Atlanta United 2 in the middle.
Yeah, a lot of credit has to go to John Wolniak and every single member of this team, because a lot of the times the positions are changing and they've changed formations a few times, but the mentality for a lot of these guys, whether John Wolniak instills in them or whatever he tells them before the game and at halftime, has been super fantastic. I mean, they come here every night and they play really, really hard. They pay attention to detail. Their formation, their identity is very, very clear, committed to challenging each other, committed to challenging themselves. We've been here on some very hot days in those stretches, and they've covered so much ground. So credit to John, credit to the Red Bull 2 players.
So Ben Mines coming on here for Jared Stroud, who leaves with another assist. So 9 goals, 7 assists. He's in the top 10 in the USL Championship in both those categories. And you have to say, in this run, the draw at home against Ottawa, where they were up a man basically for 70 minutes, as well as leading 2-0 on the road against Memphis and getting pegged back 2-2. Those have both been negative moments. They've returned from both of those with back-to-back big victories against good opponents. The 2 big ones back-to-back, Bethlehem and Atlanta, and now Tampa and St. Louis. So even in this good run, there's been tough spells, and yet this young team has rebounded.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by them. Mentality and physicality that they play at. There's never been a game where you think that they don't have the right mentality. So they've always been there. I mean, certainly the quality has been better at times, but they always show up. You always know what you're going to get from these guys, and that's an impressive trait, impressive quality to have as a team, and certainly for a head coach like John, you should be very proud of these guys.
For St. Louis FC, with this loss here, they'll remain in 10th place in the Eastern Conference, at least for the night. It looks like Birmingham Legion won't be able to get a win over Ottawa to jump them. Charlotte Independence and Bethlehem Steel right behind St. Louis as well, but they do have games at hand on all of those teams, as well as against Louisville, who's 6 points ahead of them for 8th place in the Eastern Conference. It's going to be a tough slog here for St. Louis, but they're going to start getting a little healthier here over the next few weeks. Anthony Pulis' team not able to dress a full 18 for this one. They've been so hit by injuries. But the light at the end of the tunnel, and as you've said, they've got a clear identity. They've got players that fit their philosophy. And you're playing against the top team in the Eastern Conference, but against everyone else, it's going to be much more effective in the USL Championship.
Yeah, certainly. And credit to Anthony Pulis also, because I look at his team, and they're fighting till the end right now. They're fighting. They've got a man down. They're 2 goals down, and it doesn't look like they've changed their intensity or their mentality to try to get one or get themselves back into the game. So that, to me, shows that the players have a lot of respect for their coach, have a lot of respect for Anthony Pulis, and that what they're trying to accomplish is very clear, and that they're all on board. So that, to me, is a sign of a good coach.
Tom Barlow still sitting on 10 goals for the season. Another strong, effective display, but waiting on those goals, and he won't mind it, as New York Red Bulls, too, as a group, have been one of the best teams in the league. They will sit on the top of the standings for at least a night. This one's curled in. Bezecourt can't win the header. Calvert knocks it out. You got to think for Anthony Pulis. Coming up after this one, Russell Cicerone and Caleb Calvert have made a claim to get back in the starting lineup for his team.
Yeah, they've done well. They've added the right energy and commitment. It's been difficult for them. They haven't had any clear chances. I think Cicerone definitely added a different dimension to them, but he sort of lacked in that final product tonight.
Sebastian Elney, 1 goal in his professional soccer career, 2 tonight, including a stunning near-post screamer in the first half to give his team a lead, which really set the table for New York to play from ahead, to force St. Louis to chase them a little bit, come out of their shape, allowed New York to get on the counterattack, and it finished with that Vincent Bezecourt run to draw the red card and then the set piece to set up Elney. It'll be Hilton here to hit this one. Put on the far post, headed across, still alive. And a big win there from the young John Tolkien to hold the shutout for New York. Back-to-back 2-0 wins at home for New York Red Bulls, too. They move to first place in the Eastern Conference. John Wolyniek's side continuing to roll.
Solid performance from New York Red Bull, too. Absolutely solid performance. A lot of professionalism in this performance. St. Louis FC, I do respect them as a team and what they're doing and their identity. This was a fun match for me because we saw 2 teams with 2 totally different identities sort of match up and lock horns, and it could have went either way for a lot of the time. But to truth be told, New York Red Bulls too in control.
New York Red Bulls too continue to dominate on Dollar Hot Dog Night at home at MSU Soccer Park. We'll be back in just a moment with our post-game thoughts here on ESPN+.
Lemma gets it back. He will take a strike.
Played in. Laurel gets a hand to it.
Denied by Laurel from point blank.
He's standing on his head right now.
Marcus Epps finds some space.
Barlow putting it in, back of the net. No slowing down, number 74. New York puts the exclamation point on this one tonight.
New York Red Bulls, too, 7 matches unbeaten, sitting in first place in the Eastern Conference, trying to follow up their 2016 championship. Could it be again for John Wolyniek's side? David Goss and Mike Grillo with you. For John Wolyniek, he's got to be happy. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, I thought Vince Bezecourt was very quiet the entire match, but really superb play at the end. You could see his quality stand out. St. Louis, I thought, as much as in the first half they didn't really do much, the second half they had a chance to get themselves back in the game, and they should be proud of themselves for that. But New York Red Bull 2, total control tonight. Total control the last 7 games, really. They've been on quite a run.
But you see for St. Louis, a massive possession change in the second half. They only had 34% in the first half, 44% total. Shows you how much better they played, especially with the introduction of Russell Cicerone at halftime. But for New York Red Bulls, too, the night is all red as they are out on parade once again. Sebastian Elney, 2 goals in this one, just his second and third goals in professional soccer in his career. And New York Red Bulls, too, moved to first place in the USL Championship Eastern Conference. After this one, they'll be home once again in 2 weeks against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So much more soccer coming up this weekend, all for you on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.